Hey everyone, welcome back to my vinyl collection. Today we're finally going to get to talk about Mayday 10th anniversary edition of A Lesson in Romantics. So first up is their gold version. This is only limited to 1,000 copies and it is the gold half clear splattered version. As you can see on the cover, they do have the original bit of artwork but turned gold, and you can barely see anything in the background, with only the guy with the red umbrella being the only thing that's kind of original from the artwork that stands out. So everything else is in gold and white, which I guess is quite a strong colour scheme, but you can't see the detailing of the building, the sun rays, you know, the New York skyline and everything that I thought was interesting about the original cover, and doing it like this kind of takes it away. I would have been more impressed if, you know, they reimagined or redesigned a cover like they did with their EP, Tales Top of Dead Friends, but I guess having to hire somebody to do that would have cost more money, and this was a bit more of a cost-effective solution to release a different version of it. So in the end, you know, I guess it does work and it's okay, but I'm not too overly impressed. So inside you do obviously get your record, which I've kept in my original master sleeve, which offers way better protection than you get normally from the manufacturer's sleeve, so I highly recommend you buy these if you want to protect them. And here is your original sleeve that comes with it, which is a very typical, you know, coated paper card type thing, which isn't that protective, but still quite nice because it has that shiny sort of feel to it, so obviously a bit of a sheen kind of look, and it's in that same sort of white, black and gold colour scheme, so nothing too special here. And one extra thing I do want to say is the fact that they still mention Jason Lancaster in the credits here, which is, I think, you know, still very respectful, because, you know, he was a part of the making of the record, so it's nice to know that they still acknowledge him here. Now, this is the record itself. It's a 12-inch half metallic gold and clear vinyl with splatter effects, which I think is way more impressive than the box set edition that you get, which is the orange and yellow one, which I'll move on to in a second. In this one, there's so many interesting things about it, and the sort of, I guess, work or, you know, put into it and to make it look better, because of the way, first of all, it's half gold and half clear. That already ticks a lot of boxes. You know, I like that they've chosen a clear sort of style here, where it just looks so much nicer than the typical vinyl you get. And, you know, half gold, which, you know, emphasises the fact that it's the gold edition and it's the 10th anniversary one, so it just makes it all the more special. And also it has this splatter effect onto it and this almost smoky feel with the gold bit, which is actually slightly translucent, so it lets light through, and it looks way better than the gold editions you get for Bring Me the Horizon, which I talked about in another video. So yeah, I absolutely love this one. Now next up is the box set edition, which is this here, and straight away it's way more impressive than the gold one in terms of packaging, because they've actually made an effort to make a die cut box, which can be slid open like this. Now straight away here you do see the buildings cut out, which emphasise the New York skyline being in the foreground, with the background being the sunset, which is the record itself inside, as you can see through the window here. And the artwork in general on the cover is the same artwork you get from the original album, which I appreciate, because it's sort of a huge nod to the way it looked when it was released. And also on the back you do get, you know, your track listing as you do normally. Now the box itself does open very smoothly like so, and the top lid here, I guess you can call it a lid, is really well built. The whole box is actually quite strong and robust, so I'm glad they put an effort to making it sort of last, as opposed to being a box that just falls apart if you sort of, you know, put it in a pile somewhere. Now inside you do get your record, your sleeve, and the extra bits you get inside, so, you know, put that to the side here. But yeah, straight away this is the record you get in its own plastic sleeve, which I think is great, because it offers you a better protection than you get with a paper sleeve, like I said in many of my videos, which doesn't offer a lot of protection. And here you do have another sleeve for some reason. So inside is your internal sleeve, which is the original artwork in all its glory, and the back here as well. And so, I mean, I love the artwork because, you know, it captures so much of what the album's all about, you know. And I love how it, again, which I mentioned in my previous video about Mayday Parade a couple of years ago, where I loved the idea which they use like this sort of almost like a threshold effect in Photoshop or whatever they've done to create this sort of stylized city, just skyline and the clouds and all that sort of like breaking away, looking kind of almost a bit rustic and a bit sort of like wearing away, that sort of raw look, which I do appreciate. And the colour scheme again just has this sort of like fun vibe to it, but also like kind of a sad sort of connotation as well. Inside here in the sleeve you do get the handwritten lyrics, which are basically a set of photocopied typewritten lyrics from the band for each song, not including the bonus track, which is a little bit of a shame. But yeah, straight away these guys, you know, I like it because, you know, there is a kind of a sentiment to it, I guess, but there is something about it which feels a bit off. Maybe it's the paper is printed on, or just I don't know, something about it in general, because if it was printed on like a textured paper, I'd be way more impressed. It kind of feels more like it's real and genuine as opposed to something that's just been photocopied and printed out. But I do like the fact that, you know, it is quite thick paper, so, you know, they didn't just go and buy some crappy paper to print on. So in general it is quite a nice feature, and I like how it's almost kind of referencing the latest album Black Lions, with it being typewritten and stuff being blacked out, as you can see in the lyrics there, so it's quite a nice little nod. You also do get your all access lanyard, which is basically your download card, so you don't have to worry about not getting your digital copy. Now, what's a review without a bit of criticism? Now, this vinyl record design is not my favourite by any means. I still prefer the half gold, half clear version way more than this one, mainly because of the orange sort of splodge in the centre. It's first of all, it's opaque, so it doesn't, you know, let light through that well. It kind of feels out of place, and I guess it's trying to be like a sunset with the orange and yellow colour scheme, and I guess that kind of makes sense in a way, but it just looks so off-putting in comparison to the yellow, which I love on this one, because it is translucent, it is a bit see-through. Light does come through it quite nicely, and it feels almost quite warm and like a sunset, and also kind of like candy at the same time, and it kind of looks pretty in a way, if that's the way to describe it. So I'm just not overly impressed by it. If they, you know, were to do this again, I'd highly suggest they make it an actual splatter effect, or make it sort of blend in with the yellow a bit more and make it sort of smoky, which is a design they have on some records as well, which I think they should definitely implement to this, but, you know, obviously it's too late, so tough luck really. Now, the album kicks off with a song called Jamie All Over, which is one of my favourite tracks by this band. Even to this day, I absolutely love this song, and I remember years ago I sing the song almost every single bloody day because it's just so good to me. And it was a song that kind of represents to me like this idea of love, the summer, and the feeling of wanting to go back to and everything. And also just, there's so many nuances in this song which I discover when I listen to it on vinyl with really good headphones and, you know, tweaking the equalizer and everything like that. Just find out so much more to it and just fall in love with it again and again. And also Jason Lancaster's brother, Daniel Lancaster, features as a guest vocalist towards the end of this song, adding to this really powerful, emotional opening track. Now, not only is Black Cat a good song, but they released a music video for this one specifically for the 10th anniversary edition. And it's interesting because they might be one of the first bands to release a music video dedicated specifically for a song they released 10 years ago, and for like a 10th year anniversary sort of thing. So that's kind of special if that's true. But also this video is kind of like a mysterious continuous shot styled video where it kind of kicks off on a movie set, ending with kind of like a haunted house kind of vibe. And it's just quite interesting in general because it just shows how much they want to dedicate towards this album and make it special by making a video for a song they've done ages ago. And it just adds to the fact that they actually care about this. And also it's one of the most energetic songs on the record. Being a song once played live, the crowds are just proper jumping and just moshing, having a good time. So it's a really great track for that. Now, When I Get Home Is So Dead is not only an absolutely kick-ass song that I love and that captures this idea of this sort of typical Mayday Parade breakup song that's kind of like screw you, but also the fact that it captures their distinct style and sound, both sonically and lyrically. Jersey is also a very popular song by the band with some memorable lyrics such as I'm Gone Beyond Repair, as well as being kind of like a similar sort of vibe as Black Cat, as well as being used as an encore song quite a lot of the time to get people up on their feet. If You Wanted a Song Written About You is my favourite song by the band, hands down, for so many reasons, and one of the main reasons is because it described a moment in my life which I could relate to really well and I connect with so much. I mean, I remember singing this song just endlessly for like a good summer a few years ago. Just because, not only because the fact that it was a good song, but because of how it helps me feel better. So it was almost like a therapy in a way, and it's another reason why I'm really thankful for these songs to exist and for the band to have made these things happen. And not only that, but it said everything I needed to say or wanted to say. So it was a breath of fresh air, you know, it was like a weight off my shoulders every time I listened to the song and sung it, so it kind of means a lot to me. And it's also important to note from the commentary that it's a song that almost didn't have the bridge that we got now, and it would have been such a different song, as well as the fact that it almost was going to be sung entirely by Jason Lancaster. Even though we do get his vocals now, but it definitely is a song that's meant for Derek's sort of vocals and having Jason as more of a supporting role, and it's just really interesting to know that, I think. Miserable at Best is one of the most iconic songs from the entire discography. It's a song that captures the perfect kind of breakup, troubled relationship sort of song that we've always wanted, and I'm glad they still play it to this day. And it's a song that's a perfect combination of both Jason and Derek's vocals, their styles that contrast and yet complement each other so well, and it just makes it even more of an iconic track. And I also love the fact that it's kind of like the ballad song out of the entire album. It slows down a little bit, takes a back seat, and it's kind of sad, and it's one of the sad songs on the album, in fact. But it's just such a great combination of Derek and Jason's vocals. They complement each other so well, and it just gives that song so much more emotion. Walk on Water or Drown is where the album picks up again, loud and almost heavy in a way, but not really, you know, much more intense kind of sounding and fast paced, with a really sweet sort of line in the chorus. Ocean and Atlantic is another favourite song of mine, and it's a song that kind of gives me this feeling like I'm taking a deep breath of fresh air for some reason, you know, like standing watching the waves crashing and the sun setting, just really delightful feeling. It's really atmospheric and really sort of ambient and energetic in a way, as well as, you know, being really powerful and catchy. I'd Hate to Be You When People Find Out What the Song Is About is an outstanding track on this record. It is a phenomenal song. It kicks off with a very haunting chorus with Derek's vocals, and then transitions with some of the most epic guitars by this band like ever. And then it goes with like a much more sweeter, sort of a softer melody, which then transitions back to the chorus, and there's so much energy to it. And just it is a song that has the most catchiest and well, I guess, written bridges out of all of their songs. It sounds incredible, and I just absolutely love that song just because of those reasons. It was also a song that I thought was a breakup song, but actually through the commentary you find out that it's actually a track that basically was about a beef between a past band member, so that's quite interesting to find out. Take This to Heart is a really strong track that has a lot of energy that you expect from the band, but also it's a song that has that memorable line, stay safe, stay strong, and let me know that you'll be here while I'm gone, which is basically the band singing about how they feel about being away from home on the road and touring, and how they're missing people like friends and family back home, so it's quite a sweet song. Champagnes for Celebrating I Have a Martini is a song that I think has one of the best written bridges out of all their songs. I mean, mainly lyrically, but also the way it sounds is also just as awesome. I mean, you know, it cuts to the beat and Derek's vocals, and then the guitars sort of chime in, and then all the other instruments and percussion and the drums and everything, and it all builds up to that final chorus, and it's so epic. And the lyrics, oh man, it is so awesome. I mean, I love the line, you know, as the record on the stereo plays a favourite song for 2 whole days. It's like, ah, my god, it's just, no, anyway, I'm getting too excited about that song. But yeah, it's just, oh man, I love that song. The lyrics to that bit is just amazing. Now, the original album ends with the song You Be the Anchor, which is a very popular track amongst the fans, but also is a song with one of the longest titles in the world, the full title being You Be the Anchor That Keeps My Feet on the Ground, I'll Be the Winds to Keep Your Heart in the Clouds. And it's, you know, it's a really sort of sweet, atmospheric, ambient pop rock kind of ballad song, which ends the album really nicely. Now onto the bonus tracks. Coming Back with Winter is a song that's really interesting to listen to, because you can really tell how much this has influenced their future songs, future albums, as well as the songs during that time of the record. And it's mainly, you can hear this from, you know, the start of the song sounding kind of similar to Take This to Heart, and then the chorus is sung different, but yeah, very familiar at the same time, and you know, being very Mayday Parade sounding, as well as the chorus being to what we know today as the song Save Your Heart. So it's interesting how one song has bled into another, and how one has inspired another into becoming something else. And what I'm actually more impressed with would be if they released a song which was allegedly called This Is Me Missing You, which for die-hard, you know, proper hardcore Mayday Parade fans, they would know that this song seems to be only ever played once, or has been played several times but only recorded once, and there's been only one known recording of it live when Jason was playing an encore, and the video on YouTube is literally called Jason's Encore or something like that. And I'd be more impressed if they released that one as well, or instead of this one, because that is a song that people want to hear. And allegedly in an interview, I think with one of the band members, they actually did record it, and it is somewhere, but you know, if they'd ever release it is a complete different conversation entirely. I also admire that they released these demos, mainly because of the fact that I like this sort of raw sound that they have. You know, the you know, almost finished, not quite done yet. You know, sounds quite good but not fully polished sort of sound, which I quite enjoy from these bands. And also feels like behind the scenes feel to it as well. And one track in particular that I quite like from these demos is Champagnes for Celebrating, mainly because of the chorus, which actually has a different rhythm to it, and it's sung differently, and it just adds a bit more intrigue to it. And as well as the bridge having completely different lyrics and sounding a lot more darker than it ended up being, which I think adds that replay value, and I just really appreciate it even more, basically. So without getting too controversial, you know, as much as I admire the band and the songs they've written and how much I appreciate what they've done, it doesn't quite stop me from having this main criticism specifically for this 10th anniversary edition, mainly because of the fact that they kind of failed to mention and thank Jason Lancaster to such a degree. I understand he is in the credits, as you know I've mentioned earlier, but in their commentary they haven't mentioned him at all, and they've had so many instances to try and opportunities to do so, but they haven't. So I feel like I'll do that instead. Jason Lancaster is a phenomenal musician, songwriter and singer. His range is incredible and it's clearly shown in these set of songs, not to mention his music before and after Mayday Parade. I just feel like he's brought so much to the table, and he's been such an integral part of the album, mainly because he has helped write and probably play guitar as well, but also sing on the majority of the songs and helped make it so much more powerful. And he is what made this album personally how it was so special, because of the balance and contrast between Derek and Jason's vocals, especially in songs like Miserable at Best. So yeah, that's all I had to say about that really. So that does it for my review of Mayday Parade's 10th anniversary edition of A Lesson in Romantics, both in their gold and box set editions. If you guys found this video helpful and insightful in some way, then please feel free to show support by liking, commenting and subscribing to the channel if you want to. And as usual, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. So see ya.